Look at your hand. It feels like yours, the same hand you've always had. It isn't. The skin on it is only a few weeks old. The blood inside it, a few months. Almost every cell you can see was made long after the last time you thought about it. And the hand you had 10 years ago is gone, thrown away cell by cell without you ever noticing it leave. This is true of nearly all of you. The body reading this sentence is not the body you were born with, or the one you had a decade ago. In the most literal physical sense, that body has already died, quietly, completely, and more than once. And yet here you still are, unmistakably you. So here's the question hiding inside your own skin. If the body has already been replaced, then what didn't die? Start with the thing you've always assumed without noticing. You think of your body as an object, a single solid thing you were handed at birth and have carried ever since, the way you carry a name. It feels permanent. But a body isn't an object, it's an event. It's more like a flame than a stone, something that holds a shape while the stuff inside it pours through and is spent. The candle looks the same all evening. Not one particle of the flame is. You are that flame, wearing a face. So how fast does the stuff pour through? Faster than you'd believe. The lining of your gut wears out and is rebuilt in about 3 to 5 days. The surface of your skin, the part the world touches, is completely replaced every 2 to 4 weeks. Your red blood cells last about 4 months, then are broken down and made fresh. Even your skeleton, the part that feels most fixed, is quietly dismantled and rebuilt. About 10% of it every year until in a decade, you have effectively a new one. Piece by piece, your body is tearing itself down and building itself back while you go about your day. But that raises a problem. If it all happens invisibly, how could anyone ever put an actual age on a cell? The answer came from the strangest place, the Cold War. Between 1955 and 1963, above-ground nuclear tests nearly doubled the amount of radioactive carbon, carbon-14, in the atmosphere. Then the test stopped, and it slowly fell. Plants breathe that carbon in. You ate the plants. And every new cell your body built stamped that year's exact carbon level into its fresh DNA, like a date pressed into wet cement. In 2005, a biologist named Jonas Frisén at the Karolinska Institute in Sweden realized what that meant. Every cell now carried its own birth certificate. He could read from the carbon in a scrap of living tissue the exact year it was born, carbon dating not old bones, but the living cells still inside a person. So he did, and when the ages came back, they split the body cleanly in two. Most of it was astonishingly young, but a few parts came back older than everything around them, as old as the person themselves. The question was which ones? What inside you refuses to be replaced? Take the young half first. When Frisén's team measured ordinary tissue, the numbers were almost unbelievable. The muscle of the gut, under 16 years old on average, even in the elderly. Fat cells, replaced about every 10 years. So the fat on a 50-year-old is, on average, only a decade old. Cell by cell, averaged out, most of your body is only a handful of years old, younger often than the scar you got as a teenager. The child you were is not just emotionally distant. Physically, that child is gone. Almost every cell that made up the 5-year-old you has died and been carried off and replaced. The title isn't a metaphor. Somewhere back there, without a funeral, the body you used to live in already ended. And this is where it turns. Because Frisén's clock found the exceptions, the handful of things in you that the tide never reached. A few structures that were built once, early, and then kept, untouched, for the whole of your life while everything around them was swapped out again and again. And they are not random spare parts. They are, almost eerily, exactly the parts that make you the specific person you are. The first is in your head. The neurons of your cerebral cortex, the wrinkled outer brain where thinking, memory, and the sense of being you all happen, are, with very few exceptions, never replaced. Frisén's carbon dating confirmed it in 2006. The neurons in your neocortex are as old as you are. You were born with almost all of them, and you will die with the same ones. Every other cell in your body has come and gone, but the cells that hold your memories have been there the entire time, through every version of you, every birthday, every loss. The memory of your childhood home is stored in a cell that was alive when you lived there. The rememberer never left. Your body is a river, endlessly moving, and yourself is sitting on the one set of stones the water never wears away. The second is even stranger, and you're using it right now. At the very center of the lens of your eye is a tiny core of cells that form before you are born, and they are never replaced, ever. The proteins in them, called crystallins, are laid down in the womb and then kept unchanged for your entire life. In 2008, researchers carbon dated those lens proteins and found no turnover at all. The center of the eye you are reading with is older than your birthday. Sit with that. You have watched your entire life, every face, every sky, every word on every screen, through a piece of yourself that is older than you. The window was installed before you arrived, and it has never once been changed. So the body divides into two, and the line between them is the most important line in you. On one side, the crowd, skin, blood, gut, muscle, fat, most of your weight. A rented, restless mass that cycles out every few years and is never quite the same twice. On the other side, the keepers, the neurons that hold your mind, and the lens you see through, built early and then held out of the flood, while the tide took everything else. You are not the crowd. The crowd is just what you're wearing this decade. You are the thin, unchanging thread the crowd keeps forming itself around. And there's an unexpected mercy in that. You may have felt sometimes that you've lost the person you used to be, that the child in the old photographs is a stranger now. But look at what the biology actually says. The cells that hold your memory of that child are the very same cells that were watching when the photo was taken. You didn't lose them. You have never for 1 second been anyone but yourself, because the small part of you that carries you is the one part that was never allowed to wash away. You have replaced almost everything and stayed. But a thread that never renews can only be spent. That is the other edge of it. The neurons you were born with are the only ones you will ever get. No fresh batches coming. So the very thing that keeps you continuous is the thing that can only wear thin. What makes you you is exactly what cannot be replaced, which means it is exactly what you will one day lose. The keepers hold your whole life, and they hold it once. So feel the whole of it at once. The skin on your hand, a few weeks old, the blood beneath it, a few months, the fat, the muscle, the bone, years, all of it younger than you. Almost everything you think of as your body has already died and been remade while you weren't watching. The title is simply true, but behind your eyes sits a lens that was made before you were born. And behind that, a knot of cells that has held every face you have ever loved since the moment you first opened them. Your body died years ago. What didn't die is the part that was doing the living, the part that saw and kept and stayed. That part has your memories. That part has your name. That part is looking out through your eyes right now. That is what didn't die. That was always you. So look at your hand again. Younger than you are, already leaving. In 10 years, almost none of it will be the same, and you will not have felt a single cell go. The body you are in right now is on its way out. The way every body you've ever had is gone. But something behind your eyes will still be here. The same watcher that was there on your first day and will be there on your last, taking the world in through a window older than your life. Your body has died before. It will die again in pieces for as long as you live. And through every one of those quiet deaths, something stays and looks out and remains you. That is what didn't die. It was never the body. It was the part that was watching all along. New cells, old eyes, still you.